Hey, rulers, welcome back to the Reframe. I am happy to be back from another set of holidays. I know it seems like I'm always gone somewhere, but I am back and happy for it. And fortunately, don't think I'll be going anywhere anytime soon. So let us get going. The holidays that we were celebrating this time, I was in New York, as I said, celebrating the last of holidays, marking the end of the readings of the book of the Old Testament. That was a lot of ofs. And the immediate start of a new cycle with the very first words of Genesis. So I am super excited because this means there are 52 weeks of exciting revelations, awakenings, growth, and fun ahead. This is a powerful moment of renewal, a perfect time to reframe our lives. And that's exactly what we're doing today, diving into a spiritual concept that connects us to Genesis and live by the rules. So I'm sure most of you out there are familiar with the story of creation and of Adam and Eve. So, God basically spoke everything into creation: space, time, the heavens, the earth, light, darkness, day, night, land, water, plants, trees, the sun, the moon, sea creatures, land animals, and of course, Adam and Eve. And as the story goes, Adam and Eve lived in the Garden of Eden that was created or centered around two trees, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And in this garden, all their needs and wants were provided for, and they were immortal, like they could not die. They could have and do everything that they wanted except to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And if they broke that commandment and ate of the tree, it would cause death. So along came that sneaky snake and convinced Eve to take a bite of the forbidden fruit, and she gave some to Adam. And all of a sudden, death, pain, suffering, all of it, chaos became a thing. So how many times have we been seduced and deceived into doing things that are against our best interest? How often do you let, fear, doubt, jealousy, greed, anger, and frustration cause you to act in negative ways that, block you from achieving our goals? That original sin, and really, I think there's almost a mistranslation in the term sin, to where we are to, what we kind of think of sin today. It's actually just a disconnection between us and God or the light. And so this original sin or disconnection from our creator was basically the birth of humanity as we know it. So most interpretations say, the story says that, this first act condemned us all to a life of sin and suffering. But I really want to talk about how it represents a loss of human power and share good news that we don't have to live a life of condemnation. So disconnection from the creator or being faced with temptation from our inner opponent, it isn't just a one-off event. It's something that we basically face all day, every day. It's like anytime you are dealing with, challenging situations with your family, with people at work, people on the street, with your neighbors, with, the person at the grocery store, the person that cuts you off in traffic, any of those things represent, chances for there to be kind of a short circuit between our connection to connection to the creator. It's like, you step out, you wake up in the morning and like, okay, it's a brand new day. Everything's great. You're feeling refreshed and connected. And then, as soon as you roll over, boom, there you are. You're hit with, work emails, or your spouse is in a mood, or your kids are sick, or, just any number of things that can cause us to be frustrated and, to just not feel like we are connected to our center. So the Kabbalists believe that the root cause of all chaos, and that's everything from natural disasters to negative events in our personal lives, is basically the result of the negative consciousness of human beings. The words we say, the actions we do against each other is actually the source of all the suffering we experience day to day. It's hard to sometimes wrap your head around the fact that your action with, how you act towards your spouse or how you act towards your kids, it shoots out negative energy that reverberates all over the world. And so all the time that we spend, talking negatively about other people or just doing things where we are just generally disconnected from our source, it's like it reverberates all over the place. It's not just within your household alone that you have, that you create these energy circuits. And so, thinking about that and keeping those things in mind, is really, really, really important. And so, the error of this original disconnection was that it, caused, it enabled us to lose our ability, right, to be the cause of our lives, making us parts of the effect. So it's like we lost our ability to be the cause of our lives, and that made us the effect of external chaos. The good news is, of course, we were originally created in the image of God with the potential to be masters of the physical world and to eliminate chaos completely. Because we each are a spark of the light of the Creator, and our nature, our souls originated from that source, our power comes from being aligned with the light. And when we act for the sake of sharing, we unlock that power. When we do things for our own selfishness, because we want it, I want it, gimme, or we act reactively and impulsively, we disconnect from that power. And so it just kind of brings, a broader kind of understanding of the story of Adam and Eve. The story of the tree of life and the tree of knowledge helps us to understand this loss of power. They aren't literal trees, but they're symbols of different energies or types of light. The tree of life represents the energy that was safe for humanity to connect with, while the tree of knowledge is a powerful energy humanity was, at the time of the beginning, and even in our day-to-day lives, we're not exactly always ready to manage. And so, connecting with that tree of life energy, that loving, kind, safer energy, shall we say, is a lot different from, the tree of knowledge, which again, very seductive. Sounds, like there's a lot of that's going on. It's like you're getting what you want right now in the moment. You're reacting impulsively or reacting in the moment and not really always fully thinking through what it is that's happening and how you are reacting, right? So again, the sin was a mistake of timing, taking something we weren't ready for. And it's like, it doesn't mean that, like a lot of times I try to think about when I want something really bad and you don't get it in that moment. It's if you shift your thinking to say, I'm just not quite ready for it yet. Like the timing isn't right. And sometimes it's a few hours, sometimes it's a few days, sometimes it's years. You just never know. And you just have to really kind of have that trust and understanding that that is actually what's happening. So, a big key to us being able to regain our power is resistance. So, by resisting impulsivity and waiting for the right time, we build the vessel to handle the blessings without the blessings controlling us. I think we all would like to think that we are ready to have whatever our heart's desires, but are you really? I mean, honestly, I'm hoping that God gives me the opportunity to show I'm ready to be independently wealthy. Like, I would love that. Financial independence sounds amazing. Like, so many things that I would do with all that money. But of course, my bank account says otherwise. And that just means that I have to, on some level, accept that I'm not ready. So financial independence, being debt free, I could digress. But anyways, how does all this tie into living by the rule? And my goal to help you learn to embrace the golden rule. So when we practice self-mastery and become the cause of our lives, we stop being reactive and controlled by external circumstances. You become a ruler, and your focus starts to shift away from it being all about you to seeing the benefits of caring for those around you. You build a stronger, more aligned self when you share with other people. And I know that just doesn't really, it really doesn't make sense, right? You think that, well, if I want more, then I need to hold on to everything that I have, and that's not how it works. In order for us to really become in touch with our soul's purpose, we have to look for ways to share outside of ourselves. And so the more you do that, the more layers you uncover, the better you feel, about yourself, and the better your outlook is on the world around you. You literally build a stronger, more aligned self. And so that would then allow us to fulfill the mission of love thy neighbor, no exceptions. Not from a place of neediness or being an effect, but from a place of power, clarity, and genuine sharing. And so regaining our power is about reclaiming our divine potential to be co-creators of the world with less chaos and more light. It's like you have the ability to create the world that you want. You just have to believe that and then be willing to accept where you are currently, and then be willing to do the things that are necessary for you to actually achieve those goals. Like, it's really easy to say, I want to be independently wealthy, but am I willing to go out and do all of the things that I would need to do in order for that to happen is the question. And so again, it goes back to timing, right? Sometimes your goals, the things that you want out of your career, out of your family life, out of your relationships, the timing is right. The timing is not right, it's just not going to flow right. And so that's where it becomes important to be in alignment And so, taking this opportunity, as seeing this opportunity or seeing you're not having your desires at this point in time as an opportunity for you to practice resistance, and then for you to take ownership of what it is that you're trying to achieve. I have people that ask me all the time, Nicole, why do you want to do this? Like, why are you doing live by the rule? And when I say, well, my long-term goal is to end pain, suffering, death, they all look at me like I'm crazy. But the truth is if we all manage to, or enough people manage to have that shift in consciousness and understanding, and to obtain that level of consciousness and understanding about how we are all interconnected, and decided that they wanted to act on that, it really would be the end of pain, suffering, and death, because we would not we wouldn't be going around causing hurt and pain and trauma to other people. So yes, I know it's a crazy goal, but it is what it is. That's just where I am. So anyways, all of this to say that this is really, when you are faced with challenges, it's really an opportunity for you to practice resistance, to align with the light, and to regain your power. So my question for you this week is, what's one area of your life where you have been the effect, and what are the steps that you can take today to become the cause? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. And I think with that, this is going to be a super short session today. Like, I didn't do a question of the week because I was on the road. So, and I won't belabor this point, because I know that, again, wrapping your head around the fact that, Adam and Eve and the story of creation isn't just about, condemnation of humanity. It really is almost the gift that we were given so that we would have the opportunity to be able to choose for ourselves, to use the gift of free will that we attained at the moment of the original sin, to decide that we were going to do things differently. And so everything comes down to it being a choice. And so you can choose how you show up, and choose how you interact with the people around you. And I hope to continue to encourage you to, do that from a place of kindness and consideration, because it helps not only you, but it helps me, and it helps the rest of the world. So that's my challenge to you. And, again, I know it seems overwhelming sometimes, because there is definitely a lot going on, but with the right amount of encouragement, it could definitely happen. So please be sure to follow, like, share, and subscribe, so we can go through this new cycle together. We have like 52 weeks of all sorts of interesting things to talk about and to reveal. And really, there's so much going on right now in the world that we are all going to need lots of support to not get discouraged. So with that, do you have a special cause or a project that you would like to come on and talk with me about? Feel free to DM me. I would love to hear about what you're working on and how you're choosing to share your light with the world. And again, remember to keep saying to yourself, I rule me, and I can choose to live by the rule. Have a great night.